This could well be the largest metropolis on Earth. It's certainly one of the fastest growing and most successful, an extraordinary social experiment by the Chinese government. Its name is Chongqing, and the chances are you've never even heard of it. Chongqing is becoming hugely successful, increasingly wealthy, a major battleground against corruption, and yet, in spite of all this, strangely insecure.
This is Paradise Walk, the very heart of the new Chongqing. It's hard to believe that only 10 years ago none of this existed. It was a factory area on the outskirts of the old city. Now it's become the heart of the new metropolis, drawing in people from the hinterland so that it's got a population now which is higher than that of, say, Canada or Poland. You do find people sometimes who are still a little bit bemused by the strangeness of it all and the speed with which it's changed. But of course, one other group that's come in and really benefited from all the wealth is the mafia. And the local party bosses are engaged in a fight to the death to stamp out corruption.
Throughout China's entire 5,000-year history, people have lived here at the confluence of the Yangtze and the Jialing rivers. During the Second World War, Chongqing was even temporarily the national capital, but it was tucked away in the center of the country in Sichuan province, far from the great cities of the eastern seaboard. Turning Chongqing into a megacity is a remarkable act of state intervention. The old has been knocked down and replaced by the new in just over 10 years. Only a government with plenty of money and not much need to worry about public opinion could do it. This is the Hangtong bus factory, one of the most successful businesses in Chongqing. The city has been ordered to specialize in green technology, and Hangtong is a leading example. Its buses are fueled by compressed natural gas. As you can see, the factory is hugely labor-intensive. The company was founded back in 1939, and it survived the war and even the years of communism as a family business, run by 3 generations of the Deng family, even though technically it's state-owned. Deng Ping, the 2nd generation, is the overall boss. This is his son, Deng Kai.
Family company, in a way, even though it's state-owned.
Let's say it's a big family company.
Yes, yes.
British educated, sharply dressed, with an understanding of the outside world which is new in modern China. People like him are known, with maybe a touch of resentment, as the princelings. He's only 27. You get the impression that Deng Kai no longer quite fits into the old system here. His time in Britain has given him new ideas, new ambitions. Now he's preparing himself to be part of the governing elite, but not an exclusively communist one of the kind his father and grandfather belonged to.
After I came back from England, I still feels like that it is quite important and quite necessary to involve in politics. So I've been elected to be a people's representative in People's Congress in China. It's called Zhengxie. It's other than Communist Party, the other parties have a consulting responsibility. I'm part of that organization right now. So involved in some politics, yes.
So, and this is a good starting off point, of course, for a political career, presumably.
Well, it's a good tool to get to know the system, to get to know the country, to get to know how to do well in the environment better, I guess.
If Deng Kai represents the top of the new social structure, men like these are at the very bottom level of it. They're usually the newest arrivals in Chongqing from the countryside. Bang bang men, they're known as, with more than a touch of contempt. They do the heavy lifting here. And this is where many of them live and work. It's called 18 steps, because 18 is what Chinese people say when they mean a lot. It's Chinese life in the raw, very much as it has been for countless generations. Colourful and deeply attractive to outsiders, but perhaps less so to the people who have actually to live here. Within weeks, the authorities will knock down the 18 steps area and build new office blocks here. The locals will be rehoused. At present, the new immigrants live pretty rough. One of the Bang Bang men invited us into the doss house where he lived, so we could see for ourselves. It looks as though it's been here throughout history. In fact, it was built by the brand new communist government in the early 1950s. It's only a century since plenty of European workers lived like this, but that's mostly gone now. Not in China. And everybody is all a porter, Bang Bang porter. 15 people live here, they tell me, crammed in like sardines. How much does each person pay to live here? To sleep here, they each pay a daily amount of 1 yuan. They use the slang term kwecha. 2 kwecha if they cook on the premises. They earn around 40 a day, £4. It's a tiny amount, but their living costs are so low that most of it is spending money. No wonder they look happy. Chongqing's success is based on people like these. Because they're paid so little, they can produce goods at prices that beat those of almost every other country on earth. At present, the supply of cheap labour from the rural hinterland seems inexhaustible. But, as we've seen in countries like Japan, economic success raises living standards to levels where labour isn't necessarily cheap any longer. This is the new kind of accommodation which the city is building for its migrant workers, a former public library. It's still pretty basic, but definitely better than conditions at the 18 steps.
I come over to Chongqing for more than 4 years, and I've been living here. I've heard of my friend recommend this place, so it's quite safe and also very cheap. It's not like living in a shabby alley, courtyard. So I'm really lucky.
Once upon a time, a portrait of Mao Zedong might have hung here. The main figure in this picture is altogether different. Bo Xilai is the overall boss of Chongqing. Sophisticated, beautifully dressed, and very tough. He's not just cleaning out the old doss houses, he's attacking the massive corruption here as well. Because that, as much as the speed with which Chongqing has grown, is what the city's become famous for in China. Construction is an easy way for crooks and big mafia gangs to siphon off large amounts of public money. They supply illegal labour, they provide substandard materials, they win contracts through bribery and violence. Once they get a big foothold, it's very hard to get rid of them. And the central government in Beijing has sent Bo Xilai here in order to do just that.
Fast development means big money, and Big money so often means big corruption. Over there is Chongqing's Supreme Court, and right opposite it is a hotel where the city's biggest illegal gambling casino used to be, run by a woman whom local people knew as the Godmother. Well, those times have changed, and the Godmother is now in jail. Up there in that pleasant area, local city officials live. And they come down to their offices in the centre of the city every morning, driving across this bridge, which local people still call Corruption Bridge.
This is the Godmother herself, at the biggest of the corruption trials so far, last November. Xie Caiping got 18 years for illegal gambling, bribery and drug dealing.